before we get into the planes and the flying, there's just something I need to address. You might have noticed from the intro, apart from the fact that we've changed the video, that there's a new logo. Now, the original logo I did myself, and it shows some years ago, and I always knew it wasn't really going to take me into the future. It really wasn't right for the channel. So at some point I knew I was going to have to change it and just kind of charge it up a bit. And then along came Jess. Jess is the Black Pearl design company, and Jess gets aviation. She works with Parallel 42, for example. She's worked on the Sky Park project, you know, the logos and that sort of thing. If you use the Skypad, for example, she's incredibly talented, and she's been doing this for 14 years. She's been an art director and a lead graphic designer for a company in New Jersey. Now she's got her own business that she's had for 4 years. And she's just great to work with. I think, you know, I've had to do this sort of thing before in my day job. And it's very difficult when you give someone your vision and then they go away and then they come back and you look at it and think, well, yeah, it's kind of getting there. But Jess just totally got it straight away. She understood what the channel was about. She gets aviation, and she just blew me away with this new design, and I am so proud of it. And it's great to be able to present it to you here in this video with the Silver Spitfire, which is a Spitfire that means a lot to me, having been there when it did the initial launch, and also having flown it around the globe in the sim. To bring the new logo in with the Silver Spitfire is fantastic timing for me, and a huge thank you to you, Jess. If you watch this, you did an amazing job. You totally went beyond my expectations, and cracking job, and thank you very much. Have a look at Jess's website. I'll put a link below as well, and check out her work. And if you need anything doing, if you're looking at having some design work done, check her out. She is brilliant. She really is. Okay, let's go flying. Hello and welcome to Dreamsofwings, and welcome to Duxford, and welcome to beautiful Silver Spitfire MkIIa. And here we are just taxiing out now. I wanted to save some time so we haven't done the full start-up procedure. Just wanted to get us in the air so we can enjoy this flight on this beautiful day. And this is actually real world weather from a couple of days ago. After all, if we're going up in the Silver Spitfire, we don't want to go up today, which is decidedly murky, to say the least, when I had a look earlier on. So we're just going to tootle along here and enjoy the spectacle that is Duxford. Now, this is the ACG, Aircraft Construction Group Duxford. It is free. You can get hold of it if you haven't already got it from Just Flight. You can kind of get the base pack, and then on top of that you can get the 2013 update, which I strongly recommend, which you can get hold of on AvSim. There's also a funny little thing that happens with the taxiways just over there down by the Tank Museum. If you see that, give me a shout. I don't know, drop me a message on Instagram maybe. It's Dreamsofwings1 on Instagram. And I know a very clever chap called Mimi from the A2A community who is the Duxford expert and has produced a fix for this. It's a gorgeous place to fly warbirds out from. Of course, you know, it has that World War I history, World War II history, and it just reeks of warbirds. Well worth a visit if you haven't. So, simple flight today. We're just doing it for the enjoyment. We're going to head off and go via my local airfield Blackbush just to say hello, and then head on down to Goodwood and eventually land there, which is the old home of MkIIa. Of course, she was sold and I think it was Denmark she went to, but this is her old home, and I believe at the moment she's actually back at Goodwood temporarily, perhaps. Anyway, we've done our warm-up, so we don't need to do that. We are just going to crack straight on onto the grass strip. Quick check of the temperatures, not too high. These early Mark Spitfires, this is a Mark IIA, notoriously heat up very quickly, so you don't want to hang around, but at the moment we're okay. Okay, let's just come to a halt for a moment. It's very interesting coming back to this, having not flown it for a little bit and spending time in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Big difference. Right, close the hatch, prop fully forward, everything is where it should be, everything else is looking good. Dial in a little bit of nose down trim, and before we get too hot, because we're just on the borderline, it is a hot day today, let's go. Right, straight away we dial back. It's very important not to go too far in these, they will overheat so quickly, as I say. Let's close the canopy. Back a little bit more. We are running a little bit hot there. We're not steaming, but I'm just going to take it a little bit easy. Anyone who's living in the UK will know that we've had a bit of a heat wave this last week, so that certainly helps to drive temperatures up a little bit. That's a pretty damn good rendition of Duxford down there. What I'm really excited about is that someone is working on a rendition for Microsoft 2020, and flying the A2A Warbirds from Duxford in 2020 is just going to be absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to do that. Quick look down. Okay, temperatures coming down a little bit. Nothing too big. I've still got the radiator open. We'll keep that there just while they come down. And what I'm going to do is just put it in a kind of a cruise configuration now. We're sightseeing, so we don't need to go too high on altitude. See temperatures coming down now. Of course, when these early marks of Spitfire were designed, they didn't have to worry about taxiing out to a runway. They started, jumped in, did their checks, and then blatted out across a field. So at that point they weren't really thinking about how long it would take to taxi to the threshold and all that kind of thing. God forbid you have to give way to other traffic or get in a queue to take off. P3D having a little blip there. So it's good to be back in this bit. I do love it. I followed the Silver Spitfire route around the globe back when they did it. I've spent many an hour in this particular aircraft, and when A2A produced the Spit for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, I'm going to be doing it again, because I just think the scenery will just be incredible when you consider that, okay, here we are in the UK, and this is True Earth, Orbex True Earth, so we've got a pretty good representation of the landscape using the aerial photography, but in the other parts of the world where we haven't got that, it can look a bit dull, to say the least. So the amazing thing with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is you're going to have the real world. So to do a round the world trip is just going to be mind blowing. So I'm very much looking forward to doing that again. And I think, you know, when I did the last one, I didn't make too many videos. There are a few videos on the channel about that trip, but I will certainly do some more when I do the next one. And one of the main reasons I didn't do much from the previous trip is that the scenery was just well, pretty dull at times. Okay, let's just close the radiator a bit now. Temperature's coming down nicely. Now, interestingly, I have got a bit of AI on, and according to this, we do have traffic. Although I am struggling to see him. Yep. Looks like we've got a Piper Archer somewhere over there now. Yeah, I'm not seeing him. I'm unfortunately getting some reflection on my screen off the window in the room. And it's kind of blocking it a little bit, but I'm not seeing anything. But he was there. I'd forgotten I got the AI on, actually, so that could make it quite interesting. We might have to intercept a few Cessnas. Yeah, just down here we've got the intersection of the M1 and the M25. That kind of gives you an idea of where we are. And over here and on the nose, and not sure how much of it we'll really see actually in the sim, is Warner Brother Studios Tour, which is marked on the map. I've got a feeling, and I might be wrong, that this is where there's something Harry Potterish going on, but I might be completely wrong. It's the thing with the Spit. There it is over there. Oh, let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a look. One of the things, and I do hope that, let's just get rid of that, some of you watching have only really seen Microsoft 2020. One of the things that you will notice if you've never actually flown P3D yourself is just how this older technology is just maybe not quite as smooth as Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's one of the exciting things about the new sim. Here we go, here's Warner Brothers. So we can see a little bit, bits and pieces baked in there. just like Hollywood being here, isn't it? So this is a kind of quite an interesting time for flight simulators at the moment, because here I am flying what for me is my favourite by far aircraft in flight sim, the A2A Simulations AccuSim Spitfire MkIIa, but flying it in a simulator that perhaps is a little bit lacking. And the reason why I still keep coming back to this is because of this aircraft and the other A2A aircraft. What will be incredibly exciting, and I say it every time, I know it gets boring, but what will be really exciting is when we actually have the this aircraft in the new sim. That's just going to be absolute heaven. It's very difficult to describe, you know, this aircraft. Again, if you've never flown it, what AccuSim is doing is just making it a more realistic experience. It's modelling all sorts of different things down to viscosity of the oil, lots of temperatures, pressures. It's a persistent aircraft, so if I was to do something silly now, if I was to really, you know, rag the engine, then if I then went away and came back in 3 days' time and went for a flight, the consequences of my mismanagement of the engine would you know, would actually be there to see in the condition of the aircraft, and there's a maintenance hangar that you can go into. If you are interested in learning more about the A2A Spit and you don't have it, there are a series of tutorial videos that I made on the channel. Even if you're not intending to get it, it will give you an idea of what it's about in a bit more depth, and just why those of us that fly it love it so much. It is absolutely beautiful. A pleasure to fly. And interesting, actually, also one of the easiest to fly, in my opinion. Certainly the T6 is a good challenge. The Mustang, certainly on takeoff and looping, I've found requires its you know, its own, very much its own methods. And once you master it, it feels great, and that's kind of what a lot of this is about. The Spitfire behaves very nicely. It has been tweaked over the years. A2A, if you aren't aware, A2A make flight simulators for the military. They make them for commercial organisations. So they do make them to a very high realistic standard, and they tweak them, and the Spit has been tweaked over the years from feedback from real pilots. And you know, this aircraft here is no exception. A2A work with they're called the Spitfire Academy now, spitfires.com. They were known as the Boultby Flight Academy. They worked with the Boultby Flight Academy, as it was then, to create a Mark 9 Spitfire, which is really based on this technology that uses a full cockpit simulation using many actual original parts from a Spitfire, and they produced it to so that the public can go and fly it, and you can book. I'll put a link down below. You can book to go and fly it, but also to train people who were converting to type on the Spitfire. It gives them an opportunity to have some less expensive training time in a, you know, relatively realistic environment. And it's absolutely beautiful. They've even modelled, they've put a bit of fuel, or they've done a bit of something in the primer, so that when you prime it, you get that smell of fuel. It's just absolutely incredible. Very clever, really well thought out, and that's what it's about. That's really why you know, we love this Spitfire so much. So that's why I keep banging on about it, and that's why I'm looking forward to seeing it in the new sim. And anyone who hasn't flown A2A, anyone who's new to flight simming and has started off with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, trust me, if you like warbirds, you're in for an absolute treat. Yeah, you're gonna like it. So anyway, here we go. We have just, you probably noticed, we passed over near to Windsor. I was waffling, but if I just gently look back, can't really see it. We've got Heathrow back over there. Visibility is, I was going to say it's reducing a little bit, but I think it's just, you know, it's a hot day. There's probably going to be some pollution up in the air, high pressure. So we are, we're not seeing all the way to the horizon, which is quite good because that's quite realistic. If you had infinite vision, it would look a little bit odd. So just over there we've got Bracknell. If we want to get a little position, I'll just dip the wing a little bit. That's Mile Ride Golf Club over there, and down here I don't know how much we'll see of it. It's Royal Ascot over there. Can you just see over there? Just the buildings of Royal Ascot that are actually modelled. Bracknell down here. Quick check of T's and P's, everything's looking good. We are just in a nice comfortable cruise. That's the great thing about this, you don't need to, and it's not good for the aircraft, to go flat out on the throttle and on the RPM. You can get it to sit quite nicely, doing a decent cruise speed with low RPM, relatively low boost, and you know, temperatures are looking absolutely fine, doing a good speed to get where we want to go. Let's just bring around just a little bit so we can see this. So we're coming on Blackbush now, but what I'm going to do first, if we don't overfly it, is just, let's have a look, see how much of it we'll see in this sim. That is Sandhurst down there, can't really see a great deal really. And then we're just going to say hello to Blackbush. This isn't an add-on, this is just Blackbush in Orbex True Earth. There's actually a very good Blackbush in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, which I can recommend. I was here last weekend having a bacon roll, just over there, very nice. And there's the British car auction site, which, you know, interestingly is modelled in the you know, even in the default Orbex version. Half Cuban to say hello. People on the ground saying bloody show off. So now our final stretch now, as we head down to Goodwood. So yeah, this is a beautiful aircraft. Really is a joy to fly. Just crossing the M3 there. Northampton Golf Club. Northampton Golf Club, Fleet Pond, and over there we got Farnborough. Again, Burning Blue Design have done an absolutely cracking Farnborough in 2020. That is just standard Orbex True Earth, which, to be honest, you know, it's not bad. Everything's kind of in the right place where it should be. Church Crookham over there. Nice little pause in the simulator while P3D does its thing. This is one of those occasions where you just wait for it to come back. There it is. Always interesting when it does that. That moment of, is this the end of the flight? Older shot over here. Home of the British Army. May have noticed I've not got the nav lights on. I tend not to in this. It's purely aesthetics. It's not particularly realistic, but I just think it looks better without the nav lights on. But just over here we've got our little switch. So we've got our red and our green. But as I say, for this sort of thing, I just like to have it off because I think the aircraft looks better, especially when you're doing external shots. So, not far at all now, really. Just coming up over the South Downs here. It's certainly an iconic shape, the Spitfire wing, isn't it? You know exactly what it is when you look out over it. So let's have a wee look. What is our wind doing? Oh, hardly anything at all. One knot from 9.6. Okay. So I think with that we can take we'll take runway 32. Actually no. Yeah, we'll take 32. There it is. Only choosing 32 really from an aesthetic point of view more than anything else. So this is Orbex Goodwood, previously RAF West Hampnet, and you can see how, as with a lot of other airfields, they've converted the perimeter track, or used the perimeter track as a basis for the racing track. And Orbex certainly did a grand job with this. Looks absolutely fantastic, very realistic. That big green hangar just in the centre there is where Bultby, now the Spitfire Academy, are based. Resplendent. Just having a look at the wind on a little nav map, just seeing what it's doing, and I think 3.2 is actually, I've got a slightly different wind now. I don't know if it's just been injected, but 3.2 would actually be the best one for the wind. Although it's only a couple of knots, 1 to 2 knots, it's hardly going to be much of a challenge really. Okay, so let's have a quick look around. Everything's good there, so I'm going to just bring us around a little bit Throttle back. A lot of speed there. So I'm going to kill the throttle now a little bit more, bring us round. Increase the prop. This isn't normally the kind of standard warbird approach, in that I'm a little bit far out, so I'm just going to bring it round here. Just keeping an eye on the speed there. We're still too high to deploy the gear. Now we can deploy the gear. So I'm just going to bring it round. What I'm trying to do here is just bring us in at a bit of an angle so we can do a curved approach and we don't have this nose getting in the way. Right, what have we got? So I'm not getting any down indicator, but I am getting it on the little thing on the wing. That seems to be a thing that happens sometimes in P3D where we lose that. I'm going to focus on landing now. Coming in a little bit fast. Should really be 100 coming up over the threshold, so we're just going to take it easy. Drop the flap now. We've ballooned a little bit there and dropping the flap late. Let's just recover that. Bring her in gently. There we go. And let's get that flap up quick. Okay, we're going to open the throttle, not the throttle, open the radiator all the way just to give us some extra cooling. And we will also, I can just get control back here, get some fresh air. Now really, you're meant to do that on the approach in case you have to take any drastic action, but luckily we didn't have to do that. So it's one of the always the interesting things really about coming back to a plane after you've been away from it in a while, is that you have to kind of get into it again. So what I did wrong on that approach was I was too busy yakking and not really concentrating on what I was doing, and as a result we came in too high speed, which meant that I ended up deploying the flaps too late, too low, which meant that we ballooned a little bit, quite low to the ground, but you know, we landed okay and got home safely. But I can guarantee if I was taxiing a real Spitfire back to the Spitfire Academy, I would be in for a right old talking to, because that's not how it's done. I like to leave stuff like that in because I think, you know, it teaches me, and hopefully it kind of shows you how not to do it. And it's amazing how talking to a video can take the concentration away from you. But there you go. So thanks for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the flight. It's good to be down here at Goodwood, the spiritual home of the Silver Spitfire, and I look forward to seeing you again on the channel soon. Take care now. Bye bye.